I haven't done a video in a while. Had a little bit of a headache, and I'm like, it's not ascension pain. It's like instantly came and went. There's been a lot going on. Everything with coming up with the number 10, which is 1 in 2026. This is this little device I have. It gives you the sound of fire, water, you name it. And so I've been noticing when I go out, like I've decided to back myself away from church for a while. And since then, I haven't been getting shocks in my head, so that's a good thing. I've put something in my... Anyway, who knows what's to come. Just be with what may. Go to the monastery. Do my work. But also took a break from... let's say coaching / healing / doing things for others, even though I have, and I went for amazing healing, a sound healing, and so I look forward to another one. And it's so funny how that turns off right as I look at that. 370, which is 10, which is 1. So I've been getting like these messages, everything with 10. And it's been before the end of like what the year of the snake, now the year of the horse in 2026 equals 10, which is 1, and 1 is in a homecoming way. And this one says, patiently allow time and space for the integration of my experience, empowers my destiny, and keeps me on my divine path. You know, earlier today I was just, oh my gosh, so upset in a way, but not. I had somebody come into my house that used to own it before he sold it to somebody else that told him this needed to be fixed, that needed to be fixed, and all this stuff. So the person ended up selling that house for reasonably cheap. The person flipped it. And I realized with my home that I'm in, this person not only didn't get permits, this person also moved beams. I mean, I'm seeing some shifting going on, like cracks and stuff, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's because the neighbor had his basement like basically not demolished, but he had all the flooring come out and then repoured, and maybe that affected my house, I don't know. But at the same time, I came across these old papers of there being problems with the foundation. It was really weird because before this person came over, I was downstairs and it was guided, and it was just really weird where the furnace is, which I was supposed to go take the furnace filter out to get a new one to replace it. And lo and behold, I looked down and there's some papers in a certain spot, and I'm like, why didn't I notice that before? And I think the people that renovated the place may have noticed it but didn't, or just put it back. And anyway, the owner of the house that flipped it, I don't think he knew they were here, or left them behind, not remembering. And so knowing there was problems beforehand, and not only that, the real estate agent, what she did, you know, instead of representing me, she was having conversations with him at the last minute. We went to see, or I came to see this house on the same day I put the offer in, because it was like, that was the deadline. And so she knew things with the seller, and she said he's willing to fix anything if anything needs to be repaired, which kind of sounds kind of odd, wouldn't you agree? And so she knew things, other than, I guess, the foundational stuff. She knew things, and she could have easily, in my best interest, said, you know I'd make a really good profit off of this, you buying this place, but maybe it's not a good idea, because from what I'm seeing here, even though he says this is fixed, there's some other stuff going on. But I think she had blinders on too, because she was going through a divorce, and so maybe she wasn't seeing clearly. But either way, I'm upset. And there's just more than what meets the eye. The fact that there's communication going on, and the key was that she was not to pass along his phone number to me until the closing of buying this house. I didn't hear that red flag. So having the person over today pointing out things to me, like we're talking no permits, like we're talking the bathroom was moved over, the back room is smaller, like we're talking major construction stuff went on in here, like major. There was a window downstairs that was installed by them as well without a permit. Lots of structural stuff. And so the laws just changed in the province I live in. And so it's like, I'm responsible. But at the same time, this is sickening. I don't know how people can live with themselves knowing. And so I think the previous owner tried to make it right, because he did come over and he was offering to do things. And I had all these conditions because they were, and then I had somebody else there at the time. And in a way, it didn't help me, I don't believe. And I think the person meant well. They were trying to make deals financially, how to get money for me. But that wasn't, for me, it was like, I just want it fixed. And so that's frustrating too. Because I end up putting quarter down around my house, around the garage, and around the shed, and 36 yards of soil that was brought in. And so then finding out from the previous owner, oh yeah, it's a big flood zone in the back there because of all the property around me. It just comes, and I know the guy at the very back, it's like his house is on a hill, so the water just will come flooding down. And I don't know why. Like I said, I feel like my real estate agent wasn't there in my best interest. And not only that, in all fairness, I was anxious about getting out of my condo because I was in this relationship with somebody who I had to change the locks on my door. I found myself in my garage at times where I just open it and I hadn't changed the code yet, and I'm double checking as I look to make sure that person isn't in there. That person possibly could have stole things from me, because before I moved, I couldn't find things, like pictures and different things. And I thought, maybe it just teleported away. But realistically, I think this person stole things from me. And so, yeah, I get all these things from the universe, like, oh, this person took the stuff and they buried it in the back of the condo I lived in the garden part there. And so the new owners will find it when they want to plant flowers. Now somebody says, oh, he buried it in Beaudry Park. Well, I'll tell you something. I was in Beaudry Park with him. And I remember feeling like a shovel hit over my head. And I'm like, Spirit, I just want to go for a walk. And so, but at the same time, I was being game played by this warlock. And so, and I don't even know if he knew he was a warlock, if you know what I mean. either way, I'm finding that as I help others, there's a lot of people that are struggling right now. This transition into the horse and action taking place, and I'm doing well, but at the same time, I'm okay with taking care of me. Even I was reading this book. I bought this book, and I met the author, and we got to know each other a bit when I was in Sedona, and there were some things that were popping out for me. And so tonight I was like, I took a bath. I really wanted to sit down and read it more because there were some things in there. It was like seeing a black helicopter, like, and I'm just like, when I was reading, I'm like, I've experienced that. On July 7th of 2000, I think it was 18 or 19, one or the other. I'm sure I have it written somewhere, where this helicopter went by and it was silent and it was black. And I heard somebody say, "Happy early birthday, Tina." So it was the 7th month, the 7th day. And it was maybe it was 2017. That could be 2017, 18, or 19. I'm not sure. One of those days. Now it's going to bug me. Or was it 2019? Either way. It was during that time. And and I'm sure after I get off the video and I write down some numbers, I'll figure it out. And it went through the trees so quick. It like dissipated. It was like this big helicopter that come over my house at 745 Church Road. And it literally went over, and it's a happy early birthday, Tina, but it had no noise. And into the trees it went really quick. It dissipated into like becoming really small. I remember, was it that another ship I chased after and I got on video? Anyway, somehow, it's funny how spirit messes with you and you end up erasing it. But maybe it's on my hard drive that I have saved. I don't know. I just know that, like even tonight I was talking to someone by chat and by texting, and I was just like, went in a restaurant today, sat down, and ordered my meal. But while I was sitting there, I was like, oh, mac and cheese, that sounds really good. And then when I literally made my order, I'm like, I'll have the vegetarian burger with fries. And she goes, well, it's happy hour. We can get you like a small fry. And then I was just like, okay. And then she comes back. She says, I can't get you the small fry. I can get you the big fry, but it's pretty big. And she said, anyway, before that, she said mac and cheese. And I was like, I just said veg. Anyway, it's kind of odd. I'm like, okay, I'll go with the flow of what is. And that person swore. And she goes, that's what you said, wasn't it? I guess I had an opportunity to say to her, you were reading my mind. And why I didn't, I don't know. I hope she's transitioning okay. She looks so familiar and I'm not sure where. So either way, it just makes me pause for a moment and really absorb the experience and how I know I was at a tea cafe, which reminds me I have to look in my email for whatever event's coming up next. And I remember one of the girls singing this song, and I said it differently than the way she sang it, because I heard it not totally different, but I heard it a little different. And I thought, wow, how are we subliminally getting messages? Like, it's one thing to listen and then to really listen. Like, how are these messages getting across? Are we subliminally sending things and receiving things very differently? I'm not sure. But I know I've made some adjustments and I'm thankful for it. And as for this house, I just have to take one project at a time. I'm looking at some things that need repair, like the downstairs fan and the light up here, and I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, my ancestral family say, stay there at least 5 years. Stay there at least 5 years. So I'll pray that, and yet today, I went to go get my taxes done, and I was thankful for the outcome, but at the same time, I was talking to this girl, and she's from the East Coast, and I literally cried because I thought about my family and how I miss them since they've crossed over. The Newfie accents. And I'm like, maybe I have to make a trip there. I'm like, oh my gosh, my car all the way to Newfoundland. You know, some people do this in a group for a purpose, like no man's land. My truth was to come out and how I got screwed over even on $40,000. I was part of a lawsuit, and way back when it first started, and I was working mobile at the time, and I was so used to hearing people's crisis every day at work that when I was online with this group, I'd hear their trauma and it would be too much for me. So I went offline, but I still stayed in touch with the lawyers, and then they switched lawyers. And then I got tormented by spirit so badly that even when I called about it and different things like that, they said, your name's not on the list. And I thought, yeah, it is. So I got messed up with, like somebody screwed around with me. And sometimes that'll happen with you in spirit, like people are puppeteered and you'll be surprised what they'll do. It's rather sad, actually. But they have to live with the choices they make. It's corruption. And some of these people don't even realize what they're doing. I'm like, I just want to be peace. Oh, yeah, peace be with you. In a world that, like tonight even, when I went online and this beautiful, sweet human being that I know, I haven't seen her in a long time. I used to always like keep connected with her online, and I saw a post she had, and I was just like, it was a combination of somebody who was murdered in politics and how they took a situation and made it into a politician campaign. And I'm thinking of the mother and how what it must have taken for her to just go and be amongst all these people. And like loss, you never know what it's like until you lost a child yourself. And even then, there are people that never have children and they know what it's like to lose an animal. Not to compare them, I'm just saying loss is loss, and it can be very, very painful. And so I felt as if the spirit visited me. And I'm just like, I can't know that. Because there's that part of me that feels that if we're really to look back where we all came from and come from, some people might joke at the fact that illegal aliens when they think of divine beings, who knows? I don't know what people think. I really don't. I just hear it as a collective sometimes, and I'm just quiet while the universe is chitter-chattering and their stuff. And so I just know I don't like to wrap myself up in it, because it's like this bandit that comes in and robs you of your mind and your time, and it not only that, there's people that, you know, like they do the outer body experience, they astral travel, they astral project, and they don't realize sometimes how invasive it can be when it's other people's bodies. And I have to talk to a friend of mine about this, how it can really hurt people. It can hurt their bodies. Like, I've heard other mediums and healers have died because people do this. They walk in, they hijack, they possess. Like, these are human beings that do this. Their energy. Let's just say, I'll give you an example. Somebody that knows black magic and witchcraft, and they want to manifest themselves to be with somebody in particular. They can actually have an outer body experience and be with that person without that person's permission, and they're sovereign beings. Like, they're sovereign beings. I'm not to be here to scare tactic you guys here, but the reality is, it's like a bunch of portals, and people find their way through pictures, statues. I mean, it's a whole different world a lot of people don't know about. It's like when Dolores Cannon would talk about things back in the 80s, and most people could catch on because they were into the extraterrestrials back then. They don't supposedly like to be called that. I don't have my cards in front of me right now, or else I'd do a reading. Spirit has me redoing things. Like, I've got my bowls up here and focusing on my music up here and my meditation, and so when I want to do my card work and stuff like that, I'm most likely going to go do it downstairs where I have my healing room and everything else. And so I have this new little plaque that says, "Something wonderful is about to happen." And I remember looking out and seeing the plows plowing up people's driveways, just the front edges of them. Because how many times are the plows plow the streets, and then you're left with a big hump to, you know, shovel away. But no, these plows were like going into everybody's driveway and putting the snow on the bank, kind of thing. So I thought that was really nice. I even got a video of one doing it. I was like, am I really seeing this? Anywhere else I've ever lived, I've never seen this. And so something wonderful is about to happen is almost going to be like a new mantra for me. I was at a point in my life where I was fearful to manifest anything. I manifest my ex to fall in love and to marry. I didn't manifest it for myself. Isn't that unusual? Because I was thinking of him, I was thinking of my son, I was thinking of just peace. Even though he didn't know what it was he was doing and how he betrayed, and the things he did was just unbelievable. And then Spirit tonight, oh, did you know? I'm like, don't want to know. And to me, that's not of light. That's not of light. And this is what happens in the frequency line of telepathic communication. And it's not even, it's telekinesis. It's a different type of frequency line, and I don't know enough about it. All I just know is that, is it to sell more product and we all get caught up in it? I don't know. I really don't know. But I just know that a mystic Buddhist I am, and the simplicity in life is really important to me. Like the joy that I got in replanting a couple of pots before the springtime because they were much needed. The simplicity things. And then I found myself being in a store like, why am I even here? And so, time to just stay away from it for a while. Because I think if I want to focus on bringing something in the house, it may be something that's going to contribute to healing in a great way. I'm thinking of getting a gong, which would be magnificent. And to continue working with, like when I'm even with people, and even when someone's on the table, and sometimes the healing comes out in a different way. It's like, oh, you're my holy, holy, just whatever it may be. Every time I do that, my dog gets upset. So anyway, I'm not a musician, but I am in lifetimes. It's really hard to explain. And so I want to take a lesson with someone about gonging and some other things. And so we'll see where that goes, and taking some music lessons. And so maybe it's time for me to do some of that stuff for me again. I was jumping into doing things for other people, but then I lose sight in one way of myself, but in another way I'm not, because I'm being of service. But you also got to make sure your cup's always full in order to do that. And it's beautiful when you can help out someone in certain circumstances, for sure. But I also know some people will abandon people, and I'm not that type of person. No, there's some people that names were mentioned tonight in the universe, and I'm like, I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear it. And this thing of getting old and aging, the screen doesn't look too bad right now. I don't look bad, but maybe it's because I did my whole facial regime and put some aloe on my face and serum. And I have a friend who's into doing beautiful work that helps me with electrolysis and facial care. I'm so thankful. And which reminds me I have to reach out to her, because I feel like some of the facials she's done, they've been magnificent. Which reminds me, I have this thing I have to use. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. They remind me of another friend who I sat there in it when she ridiculed me because I was thinking of getting Botox, like especially here. She ripped me one. She got so mad, and I sat there in it. And then she was mad that I didn't react. So then she was mad at herself. That kind of ricocheted back on me again. So I don't know if we're going to be friends anymore. And we were friends for over 20 years. Or something so ridiculous. And I'm driving home, and then I was in the store and I saw this picture and it reminded me of her daughter. And just that thought. And then Spirit comes in, oh, blah, 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 blah. And you know that's not of light. And just the opinionated beings of things that I just can't fall for. I'll still be of love and light. You just never know in circumstances and what's going on. She'll see. Or maybe she won't. I just know what the thickness of all it is. I don't like to fall fallacy or... Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going with that. I'm going to leave it with love. I'm going to have to leave it with love before I start talking in circles. As I'm tired. Maybe well, maybe happy. This is the real me. A bunch of papers on my counter that I have to get to tomorrow. Yep, it's pretty full of stuff. That's not so bad. Oh, but the rest of the house is looking pretty good, isn't it, baby girl? The rest of the house is looking good. The guest room, our room, the living room, prayer station, downstairs, the office part. We still got some things to do, but it's starting to come along and adjusting and adapting in here. I know people have lived in their place for over 6 months and they still haven't unpacked all their boxes. And so sometimes it takes time to get settled. Either way, blessings.